Every transformation begins with a decision, and that decision is followed by a habit. Habits are not just what you do, they are who you become. The truth is, your life doesn't change when the clock strikes midnight on a new year. It changes when you decide to give yourself 2 intentional hours every single day. 2 hours that don't belong to distraction, fear, or busyness, but to purpose, growth, and transformation. This is the 2-hour daily habit that will completely shift your life. Most people say they don't have time, but what they really mean is they don't have priority. The average person spends hours scrolling through social media, gossiping or worrying about things they can't control, and yet claims they can't find 2 hours to change their destiny. But time isn't something you find, it's something you make. The ones who rise, the ones who evolve, the ones who walk in abundance, they all have one thing in common. They've learned how to separate time from the crowd and consecrate it to growth. Because when you give your time to the right thing, everything else in your life starts to align with it. Those 2 hours are sacred. They are not for reaction, they are for creation. You start the first hour with your mind and your spirit. Before you go out into the world, before you open your phone, before you deal with business, you deal with you. You silence the noise of the world and turn up the volume of your purpose. Because you can't conquer the marketplace if your mind is in chaos. You can't speak life if your heart is filled with confusion. The first hour is where you reprogram your mind, renew your vision, and realign your heart. That's the hour where you feed your faith and starve your fear. You read, you pray, you journal, you visualize, you affirm, you learn, you prepare your internal environment for external victory, because success begins within before it manifests without. The second hour is about your skill, your craft, your calling, your gift. The gift inside of you is valuable, but it only becomes profitable when you refine it. You can't expect to be excellent in something you only touch occasionally. The world rewards those who work on themselves daily. So use that second hour to sharpen your gift. Study your industry, practice your skill, create, build, write, design, speak. Whatever your lane is, dominate it by devotion. When you sharpen your gift every day, you become unstoppable. You stop competing and start leading. Because when your gift grows, your confidence grows. When your confidence grows, your opportunities multiply. At first, 2 hours may not seem like much. You'll wonder if it's even making a difference. But consistency creates compounding. Like a drop of water that slowly shapes a rock, those 2 hours each day will carve your destiny. The problem is, most people quit too soon. They start strong and stop when they don't see instant results. But transformation is never instant. It's incremental. You won't notice it in a day, but you'll see it in a year. The person who gives 2 hours a day to intentional growth will become unrecognizable in 12 months. Because what you do daily determines who you become permanently. Discipline is the real secret behind the habit. You won't always feel motivated, but discipline will show up when motivation doesn't. Emotion makes promises that only discipline can keep. There will be days when you're tired, when your mind tells you it's not worth it, when distractions pull at you from every side, but that's where destiny separates from mediocrity. You must decide to lead your emotions instead of follow them. Champions don't act based on how they feel, they act based on who they're becoming. Discipline doesn't just build habits, it builds character. It's the quiet strength that keeps you walking when everyone else stops. And as you walk this path, you'll notice something powerful begin to shift. Your energy changes, your perspective changes, you start thinking differently, speaking differently, attracting differently. Opportunities begin to find you, doors begin to open, because the universe responds to order. When you show up for your growth every day, everything else starts showing up for you. That's not magic, that's momentum. Momentum that's built in the quiet hours of consistency. What's even more beautiful is that this habit doesn't just create success, it creates peace. When you dedicate those 2 hours daily, you're no longer running through life aimlessly. You're living with intention. You start to walk in purpose. You start to feel alignment. Your relationships get better because you're no longer reacting from stress. Your creativity flows because your mind is no longer cluttered. You start seeing that success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by who you become. This 2-hour daily habit is not about perfection. It's about progression. Some days will be powerful, some days will be quiet, some days you'll feel on fire, and some days you'll feel empty. But every day counts, every hour compounds. Because those who honor their small beginnings will one day see great endings. The key is to remain faithful to the process even when the progress feels invisible. You may not control how fast the world moves, but you can control how consistently you grow. And if you will commit, truly commit, to 2 hours every day dedicated to your mind, your spirit, and your mastery, you will not recognize yourself a year from now. You will walk differently. You will talk differently. You will think differently. You will attract differently. You will live differently. The 2-hour daily habit will not just change your schedule, it will change your standard. It will not just shift your productivity, it will shift your identity. It will make you the kind of person who doesn't wait for opportunities but creates them. It will turn you from a dreamer into a doer, from a wanderer into a winner, from someone who wishes for change into someone who becomes the change. 2 hours every day. Guard them, honor them, protect them, because those 2 hours hold the power to transform every other hour of your life. And when you look back one day, you'll realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It wasn't chance. It was discipline, devotion, and the decision to show up daily for your destiny. That is the habit that will completely shift your life. The law of daily investment is one of the most powerful and overlooked principles of success. Most people want change to happen overnight, but life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who work. Just as a farmer doesn't expect to harvest the day he plants the seed, you can't expect success without consistent sowing. Every day you are planting something through your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your habits. The problem is that many people are investing in distraction instead of destiny. They give their energy to entertainment instead of education, to comfort instead of calling, and to reaction instead of creation. But the law of daily investment says that whatever you pour into consistently will eventually pour back into you in multiplied form. If you give your energy to negativity, you'll reap discouragement. If you give your energy to growth, you'll reap abundance. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing something meaningful every single day. You may not see results immediately, but you're building compound growth in the unseen. Just like money grows through compound interest, your character, your wisdom, and your success grow through compound effort. Every hour you invest in growth is a deposit in the bank of destiny. It might not look like much now, but time will prove that your daily deposits create lifelong dividends. The reason so many people stay stuck is because they underestimate the power of the small. They think massive change requires massive action all at once. But true transformation is never explosive, it's progressive. It's not what you do once that changes you. It's what you do daily. If you invest 2 hours a day into learning, growing, and building yourself, you will soon have what others call luck. But it won't be luck. It will be the law of daily investment at work. Every day you have 24 hours, a full account that resets at midnight. The question is not whether you have time, it's what you're doing with your time. Every day you either spend it or invest it. Spending time feels good for a moment, but investing time builds a future. When you spend time, it's gone forever. When you invest time, it multiplies and comes back to bless you. That's why the wise understand that today is not just another day. It's another opportunity to invest in becoming the person you were meant to be. So, if you want your life to shift, stop waiting for the perfect moment and start making perfect use of every moment. Every page you read, every skill you practice, every moment you spend reflecting and planning, those are investments that build an unshakable foundation for success. Don't despise small beginnings, because the smallest investments made consistently will lead to the biggest transformations. The law of daily investment is simple. If you honor your time will honor you. Before you chase the money, you must master the mind. Before you plan the strategy, you must align the spirit. Too many people are trying to win externally while they're losing internally. They're chasing wealth while carrying a mindset of lack. They're chasing success while battling self-doubt. They're trying to lead others while their own spirit is disordered. That's why so many plans fail. Not because the idea was wrong, but because the individual wasn't right within. You can't manifest abundance from a mindset of scarcity, and you can't execute divine strategy with a disconnected spirit. The foundation of lasting success is not in what you do, but in who you are becoming. The mind is your command center. Everything you create flows through it. If your thoughts are chaotic, your results will be chaotic. If your beliefs are limited, your outcomes will be limited. The external world simply mirrors your internal world. That's why the first hour of your day, the hour before the noise of the world takes over, must belong to your inner world. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about renewing your mind daily, aligning it with vision, purpose, and truth. You must speak to yourself before the world speaks to you. You must feed your faith before the world feeds your fear. Because whatever dominates your mind will direct your life. But even a sharp mind without a strong spirit becomes dangerous. You can have intelligence without integrity, ambition without alignment, and success without peace. And that combination destroys more people than failure ever will. Spirit before strategy means you anchor yourself in principles before you run after plans. It means you move with peace. Not pressure, with purpose, not panic. It means your actions are guided, not just by opportunity, but by conviction. When your spirit is aligned, you stop chasing what isn't meant for you and start attracting what was always yours. The truth is, money follows mastery, and mastery begins with mindset. Strategy works best when it flows from stillness, not from stress. That's why the most successful people in the world are not always the smartest or the most talented. They are the most centered. They know who they are, what they stand for, and what they're called to do. They don't make decisions from desperation. They make them from discernment. You can't afford to let your emotions dictate your direction. You can't let fear make your financial decisions or let insecurity shape your strategy. You must rise above emotion and operate from revelation. Because when your mind is renewed and your spirit is aligned, your strategy will naturally flow with precision and power. You'll start to see opportunities that others overlook. You'll attract the right people, make the right moves, and walk in clarity instead of confusion. So before you grind, get grounded. Before you plan, get peaceful. Before you go out into the marketplace, go deep into your inner place. Because the world doesn't need more people who can make money. It needs more people who can handle it with wisdom, humility, and purpose. When your mind is in order and your spirit is anchored, money becomes a tool, not a master. Strategy becomes a servant, not a struggle. And from that alignment, every action you take will be powerful, purposeful, and prosperous. Before success can ever manifest, skill must be developed. Success doesn't respond to desire, it responds to discipline. You can want greatness all you want, but if you haven't built the skill to sustain it, it will slip right through your hands. The truth is, the world doesn't pay you for your potential. It pays you for your proven value, and your value increases as your skill increases. Every gift you've been given has the potential to multiply, but multiplication only happens when you invest in mastery. Too many people pray for elevation while avoiding preparation. They want the stage but haven't sharpened their sword. They want influence but haven't built the infrastructure. But the law of skill says this: you can't receive publicly what you haven't refined privately. Skill is the invisible advantage. It's what separates those who wish from those who win. Every master was once a beginner who refused to stay the same. They practiced when others rested, studied when others scrolled, and built when others broke focus. Skill is built in silence and revealed in seasons of opportunity. The moment preparation meets opportunity, it looks like luck to the untrained eye. But it wasn't luck, it was labor. The grind behind the glory is what people never see. They see the results, but never the repetition. Every time you dedicate your second hour of the day to sharpening your craft, you're building compound excellence. You're not just practicing, you're positioning yourself. Skill development is not just about learning techniques. It's about cultivating character, discipline, and patience. It's about becoming so good at what you do that mediocrity becomes impossible. Because when excellence becomes your standard, success becomes your shadow. The problem is, most people stop when it gets uncomfortable. But mastery lives on the other side of monotony. Greatness is not found in excitement, but in endurance. It's doing the same thing again and again with focus, passion, and purpose until you no longer need to think about it. You become one with your craft. And once that happens, your work begins to speak for you. Opportunities start chasing you instead of you chasing them. Because when you refine your gift begins to make room for you. Skill is a seed that keeps giving. When you grow your skill, you grow your influence. When you grow your influence, you grow your income. Success is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by becoming excellent at what you do. And the beauty of skill is that it compounds. 1 hour a day today will turn into expertise tomorrow. 1 year of focused effort will place you ahead of those who only relied on talent. Talent opens the door, but skill keeps it open. So commit yourself to mastery. Don't rush the process. Don't look for shortcuts. Build your skill until you become irreplaceable. Because when you focus on becoming skilled, success will have no choice but to find you. Consistency creates compounding. It's the hidden engine of transformation that most people overlook. Everyone wants massive results, but few are willing to do the small things long enough to see big change. The truth is, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. The power isn't in one great day of effort, but in the thousands of small days that no one sees. Each day you show up, each moment you stay disciplined, you're adding another layer to your foundation. It may look like nothing is happening at first, but consistency is quietly compounding beneath the surface. Think about a seed planted in the soil. For weeks, it looks like nothing's growing, but underground, roots are forming, strength is being built, and life is preparing to emerge. That's exactly how consistency works. You may not see instant change, but time is working for you. Every repetition, every hour invested, every sacrifice adds up. What feels insignificant today becomes unstoppable tomorrow. The same way a river carves through rock, your consistency carves through limitation. It's slow, it's steady, but it's sure. The challenge is that inconsistency kills momentum. Many people start strong, but stop when it gets hard. They expect the reward before they've built the rhythm. But the law of compounding says that what you do daily multiplies exponentially over time. One small disciplined action may not change your life today, but 1,000 of those actions will make you unrecognizable a year from now. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of consistency and overestimate what they can do in a week of effort. The secret is not in doing more, it's in doing something meaningful every single day without quitting. Consistency is also a test of belief. When you keep showing up, even when you don't see results, you're declaring faith in your future. You're saying, I believe that what I'm building is worth it. And that belief becomes power. Every consistent act strengthens your self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. You start to realize that you don't need motivation to move. Movement itself becomes your motivation. Compounding works in every area of life. Read 1 hour a day and you'll become a thought leader. Save a small amount consistently and you'll create wealth. Practice your skill every morning and you'll rise to mastery. Consistency doesn't just add, it multiplies. It's the quiet multiplier of destiny. What starts as small discipline turns into unstoppable transformation. The truth is, time is going to pass anyway, whether you're consistent or not. But when you use time as your ally instead of your enemy, compounding begins to work in your favor. The person who shows up daily will always surpass the one who only shows up when it's convenient. Because while talent may open the first door, consistency keeps every other door open. So keep showing up, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching, even when the progress feels invisible, because consistency doesn't lie. It will reward you with results that others will call sudden, not realizing it was years of quiet compounding that made it happen. The reward of consistency is not just success, it's transformation. And when you master consistency, everything you desire eventually becomes inevitable. Discipline over emotion is the mark of every person who rises above mediocrity and walks into mastery. Emotions are powerful, but they're unstable. They can inspire you one moment and betray you the next. If you build your life on how you feel, your progress will always be temporary. Because feelings fluctuate, discipline doesn't. Discipline is the ability to keep moving when motivation disappears. It's the commitment to do what's right even when what's easy looks tempting. Emotion makes promises, but discipline delivers results. Every great achiever has faced moments when quitting felt easier than continuing. There will be mornings when you don't feel like getting up, days when you don't feel like working, and seasons when everything in you says, take a break, no one will know. But discipline knows. Destiny knows. Your future self knows. Because every time you choose discipline over emotion, you strengthen your future and silence your excuses. You prove to yourself that your decisions are stronger than your feelings. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. It's what turns goals into growth and dreams into destiny. Emotions can inspire action, but only discipline can sustain it. Most people wait to feel ready before they move, but those who win understand that movement creates readiness. You don't wait for the right mood to build your life. You build your life until your mood adjusts to your mission. When you train yourself to act based on commitment instead of comfort, your entire life begins to shift. The truth is, discipline is love in action. Love for your purpose, love for your potential, love for the version of you that you're becoming. Every disciplined decision is a declaration that your future matters more than your feelings. It's saying, I refuse to be a prisoner of my emotions. I will be a leader of my life. That's why disciplined people are dangerous. Not because they don't feel fear or fatigue, but because they don't let those feelings dictate their destiny. Discipline also builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you deposit trust in your own account. You start to realize that you can depend on you. That's where power comes from. Not from talent, not from luck, but from the inner certainty that you'll show up no matter what. Emotion says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it until it's done. And that attitude changes everything. There will always be distractions, delays, and difficulties. That's life testing your commitment. Emotion will always give you reasons to stop, but discipline will always give you results that make it worth continuing. Discipline doesn't eliminate emotion, it elevates it. Because once you push through resistance, the satisfaction of victory always outweighs the comfort of avoidance. If you want to rise higher, you must learn to lead your feelings instead of following them. Emotions make excellent servants but terrible masters. Discipline is what gives you control. It's what keeps you consistent when others get comfortable. It's what turns average days into productive ones and struggles into strength. The person who learns to operate by discipline, not emotion, becomes unstoppable. Because no matter how they feel, they keep moving forward. And that's how legacies are built, one disciplined decision at a time. From habits to harvest, that's the journey every person must walk to experience real transformation. You can't expect to reap where you haven't consistently sown. The habits you build today are the seeds that will determine the harvest you'll see tomorrow. Every action, every thought, every decision is a seed. You're planting all the time, whether intentionally or by default. The only question is, are you planting seeds of growth or seeds of stagnation? Because life doesn't just give you what you wish for, it gives you what you work for, what you water, and what you nurture daily. Your habits are your invisible future. You don't decide your destiny, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your destiny. Most people pray for a harvest while neglecting the discipline of sowing. They want abundance without alignment, results without repetition, and success without sowing the seeds of consistency. But the universe operates on a divine principle. You will always reap what you repeatedly do. That's why daily habits matter more than occasional effort. You can't change your life overnight, but you can change what you do every day, and that will change everything over time. The habits you practice shape the person you become. The person you become determines the level of harvest you can handle. If you build habits of laziness, distraction, and doubt, your harvest will reflect that. But if you build habits of focus, faith, and follow through, your harvest will overflow. Every time you wake up early to work on your vision, you're sowing. Every time you study, create, or refine your craft, you're sowing. Every time you choose gratitude over complaining, discipline over comfort, persistence over quitting, you're planting seeds that will eventually produce fruit. The problem is many people uproot their seeds before they can grow. They start something, but when they don't see instant results, they give up and start over. But real growth takes time. The soil doesn't reveal what's happening underneath, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Roots are forming, strength is being built, and your future is being prepared. You must have the patience to let your habits mature into harvest. You can't microwave mastery, you must cultivate it. When you honor the process of planting, watering, and waiting, your harvest becomes inevitable. The person who tends their habits daily will never have to chase success. Success will chase them, because harvest is the natural reward of consistent sowing. You don't need to beg for blessings when your habits align with purpose. Blessings are drawn to discipline. Prosperity is attracted to persistence. And here's the beauty. Once the harvest comes, it doesn't just bless you, it blesses everyone connected to you. Your discipline feeds your family. Your consistency inspires others. Your growth becomes a light to those still walking in darkness. That's the real reward of the harvest. Not just what you get, but who you become and how many lives you impact because you refuse to stop sowing. So never underestimate the power of your daily habits. They are the quiet architects of your destiny. Keep sowing, keep watering, keep showing up. Because one day, when the season is right, the habits you built in private will produce a harvest so great that everyone will see the hand of purpose upon your life. Your harvest will not come by luck, it will come by law. The law of habits that lead to harvest. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen in the big moments. It happens in the quiet ones. It happens in those 2 sacred hours each day when the world is still and your future is being written by your choices. The 2-hour daily habit isn't just about discipline, it's about devotion. Devotion to your purpose, your potential, and the person you were created to become. It's about honoring the law of daily investment, mastering your mind before chasing money, sharpening your skill before seeking success, staying consistent until your results compound, choosing discipline over emotion, and trusting that every habit you build today is preparing a harvest for tomorrow. You see, life doesn't reward the talented, it rewards the committed. It doesn't favor those who wish, it favors those who work. The difference between average and exceptional isn't ability, it's consistency. It's the willingness to show up even when no one's watching. Because those hours in silence are what builds strength in public. Every moment you dedicate to growth is a statement of faith that your destiny is worth the effort. If you truly commit to this, 2 intentional hours every day dedicated to your mind, your spirit, and your skill, a year from now, you won't recognize yourself. You'll walk with clarity, speak with conviction, and live with confidence. You'll no longer chase success. You'll attract it. You'll no longer wonder, when will my time come? Because your time will already be here, created by your own consistency. The 2-hour habit isn't a routine, it's a revolution. It's a daily meeting between who you are and who you're becoming. And if you stay faithful to it, your future self will thank you for the seeds you planted today. Because one day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't luck, it wasn't timing, it was the power of your daily investment that shifted your entire life. So guard those 2 hours. Protect them with everything you have. Let them become the altar where your old limitations die and your new life begins. Because once you master your day, you'll master your destiny. And once you master your destiny, there will be no limit to what you can become.